I was at God no matter where I was at. a jack of all trades and a master of all trades. And that's one thing, you got to have your buddies back, they got to have your back, but you got to work on yourself every single day. And that's one thing that the military has to really triple down on. Is something that we're missing nowadays a lot, is that total accountability of every day going back to boot camp in your mind. You may agree, boot camp sucks. SEAL training sucks. All these things suck, and people are so happy to get out of it. But that's what makes you good. Remember how you were when you got out of boot camp? You're kind of all like robotic and locked in, and then it slowly goes away. You get comfortable. You start to sag a little bit, start to walk around. You start to lose that militant discipline. That's the one thing I learned not to do in the military. Is the military teaches you these great codes, ethics, morals, values. You got to continue to work on those. Like everything, it's a muscle. You stop going to the gym, you stop running, you get weak. The military teaches you these great values of strength and honor and code and all these other things. But what we do is we don't keep up the discipline of all that stuff. And we lose it. So the one thing I learned is to not lose that thing, that boot camp, SEAL training, whatever you go to, whatever your A school is, whatever it is, keep that discipline up. That's the biggest thing. We're all going through a battle in our mind. A warrior is not a person that carries a gun. The biggest war you ever go through is right between your own ears. It's in your mind. We're all going through a war in our mind, and we have to callous our mind to fight that war and to win that war. The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, eventually you'll act on it. And my self-talk was the most disgusting self-talk of all time. So the sewer of my mind, like I said, you have to go back in there and fix things. A lot of us are afraid. Like right now, 20 years ago, you wouldn't find me on this show. I was too embarrassed to tell you I stuttered, I lied, all these different things, getting beat up, getting bullied, whatever happened. But that's where the true transformation starts to happen. When you can look at people, anybody, thousands of people, one person, and say, hey, this is who I am. And this is where I have to fix myself. And this is where it really happened. I thought it happened when I was in, 19, 18 years old trying to pass this military test. It happened here when I was almost 300 pounds, spraying for cockroaches, making $1,000 a month. And, people called me dumb. My dad called me so many things, not even funny. Being beat just stripped me of all self-esteem. This is when I realized I was alone on this earth. I have God alone on this earth, and I have to fix everything. So this is where I started to develop an indestructible mental toolbox. I absolutely hated running, but I knew for me to grow, I had to do this thing every single day. I wanted to start callousing my mind. I wanted to start becoming a better person. And how you become a better person, how you gain mental toughness, how you become the person you want to be, is constantly facing the things that you don't want to face. If you constantly run away from things that you don't want to face, how is there growth? How is there mental toughness? I can give you a class all day long about self-talk, visualization, eat an elephant one bite at a time. But if you're never putting yourself in a situation to actually practice these things, you're never going to grow. I was that guy who grinded. I grinded hard. I grinded hard. I was that guy who was up, like if we went on an op or we had a workup, let's say we had a workup, we were in an island, we're out there shooting guns and doing land warfare, and we did it till like 1 o'clock in the morning. Most everybody would go to sleep. I didn't go to sleep. I went to the gym and I worked out. Or I'd go sleep, let's say we'd be up at 5 o'clock. I was up at 4 o'clock and got my hour in. I made sure to always do that. The first thing you have to do is just to calm your mind down. The very first thing you have to do is don't give yourself a way out. You got to trick yourself also and say, you know what, I might quit, but I'm not going to quit right now. Yeah, I might quit, but not now. So that kind of calms your mind down. Because if your mind knows, I'm not going to quit, it starts spazzing out even more. You're not going to quit. Let your mind think it has a little control over you. Give it a little cookie. Give it a little cookie, and then you can start processing. Sit there, calm it down, process. That's the first step in the whole journey, is you cannot spaz out when things get hard. And then when you're able to calm down, you're able to think. If you're under a panic situation and your mind is spastic, are you in control? No one is. And that's what I realized. The worst decisions I make in my entire life is when my mind has said, let's get the hell out of here. We're done. This sucks. I'm over it. So that's the first thing in the whole process. And then realize, I call it the cookie jar. Something I invented years ago is you have to have something that fuels you in this time. So once you calm down, what's going to get you out of the chair? What's going to get you moving forward? You got to remember that I've been in times just as hard as this. So I reflected back on my life. I had a rough childhood, a rough upbringing that I talk a lot about in my book. So basically, that's kind of what I use. I use these different tools to get myself from point A to point B, and it's a process.
So I just got back from a long run, and what I realized for myself and for a lot of people is that life is one big tug of war between mediocrity and trying to find your best self. So there's tricks to all this crap in life. Life is one big head game. One trick in this situation is, so I didn't want to run, so what did I do? I figured out a couple of things. You have to sometimes let mediocrity think that you're giving into it. So I said, you know what, instead of going for a 20-miler, so go out for an easy 6 or 7. What that did to my brain was it said, okay, mediocrity won. So it let loose a little bit. It let go of that, oh, this is going to suck. This is going to be okay, it's not too bad. The second you get to mile 2, guess what happens? Greatness pulls mediocrity in the mud. Get out there and get after it.
I was 290 pounds twice in my life. I do not like to do the things I do, but there's humongous satisfaction from doing it. There's humongous satisfaction from lacing your shoes up saying, I don't really want to go for a run today. And then running. And then getting back and saying, wow, I did it. And that's what it's about. It's about these small steps to doing things you don't want to do. So a lot of people can live with themselves. That's the first thing. A lot of people can live with themselves, look in the mirror and say, I'm okay with being afraid. I'm okay with going on this easy highway over here. The easy highway has all these signs and shit, directions, how to get somewhere. And you have to first be uncomfortable with how you feel about yourself. With that voice that a lot of us like to run away from, we all have it. We all have that voice that's saying, hey man, you know, you're kind of wimping out right now. You're kind of being a little punk right now. But a lot of us say, okay, that's okay. It's okay to tell these little white lies to ourselves. So we first have to face the real you. The real me is David Goggins. The real me is a guy looking at you right now saying, I don't want to be on this show right now because I used to stutter as a kid. And I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid that here in a second, I'm going to start stammering and stuttering and the whole world's going to know that I have all these issues. But that's when I see right now, okay, Goggins, you got to go on this show. That's Goggins. Goggins is saying, okay, David Goggins, you're a punk. Life made you this way. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what the people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. That's Goggins. Goggins saying, all of you who don't like me, who don't want to, and that person then comes in. But you have to be David Goggins and say, man, I'm afraid of this. I'm up here. Life made me this way here. I stutter. I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and I'm insecure. You have to face that in that dark room. In that dark room is who you are. But in that dark room is where you have to create another human being that walks out of that dark room to face who you are. That's the only way you're going to get over all those things. You have to create someone else. Not like you have two different personalities. It is you. But you have to find strength. And that visualization of almost me cracking out Goggins, like almost like that Superman cape, like I'm coming out a different person, a person that doesn't give a fuck about anything, who doesn't care about being judged, who knows I'm weak, who knows I'm afraid, who says, whatever you think about me, take it, whatever, I'm here. That's Goggins. In the dark room, you face yourself, you realize you want to be better, You realize you don't want to be this weak, insecure person in the world who has all these problems that we all have. We all have. Social media is a great platform to tell you who we want to be, not who we are. So back in the day, what motivated me was overcoming myself. I saw myself as a very weak individual, and I wanted to overcome myself. And once I started reaching these different hurdles, I realized that we all have this superhuman potential. Now at 43 years old, I believe in being a leader. And there's a lot of times, like there's no need for me to get up in the morning time and go out for these long runs. I've done it all. I'm good. I'm retired from the military. I did 21 years in the military. I've done it all. Now it's about setting the example for others to follow. So what keeps me going now is everyone wants to know, how do you become a leader? How are you a leader? Being a leader is sometimes the worst job in the world because you have to put yourself in some of the most uncomfortable situations of all time. For me to tell you to do something and I'm not doing it myself, that's what motivates me now. That's what keeps me going now, is that I have to continue to set the example. I can't talk it, I have to live it. You know, I believe that I can't talk about what I used to be. I used to be this guy that broke pull-up records. I used to be this guy that ran 100 miles, ran 200 miles. I have to still be that guy. And if I'm not that guy anymore, I shut up talking about it because it's not me anymore.